All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown, day 214 by my count. What's going on? What's going down? I think today we're having our gubernatorial debates, if that's a thing. Maybe it was last night. Am I wrong? Maybe it's tonight. Between Governor Inslee, and some person I can't name. And that's kind of a problem, isn't it? Either I'm not paying enough attention, or they're not doing enough work to get my attention in order to get me to care enough, which means there's a whole bunch of other people who don't care enough to vote, to get informed, and to, vote Inslee out because he probably should be. Wow. Hooverville for sure. What else is going down? Maybe I'll try to focus on that and give you guys an update tomorrow. I ran into some regionalism, and this is one of these issues that we run into with states that are larger than Connecticut, right? For people who don't know, Washington State is essentially divided into, I guess, thirds, or maybe a quarter, more like a third, meaning the western third on the west side of the Cascade Mountains is Olympia, Seattle, Bellevue, Bellingham. It's Hippieville. It's leftist territory, right? And then Eastern Washington. Wow, people are really in a hurry today. Eastern Washington is farmland and rural and more red, and that's just how it is. Now, I ran into somebody on Twitter who's like, I was helping to dunk on our mayor because I like to talk shit about our mayor because, again, I have nothing, so it costs me nothing to talk trash about our, democratically elected leadership. They were like, people like you don't even live in the western part of the state, so why does she have to listen to you? And it's like, okay, I hear you. If I didn't vote here and I didn't live here, then you might have a point. However, if I have to travel through here, if I have to visit here, if I have friends and family who live here, if I want to come to a baseball game here, the local leadership matters. And oh boy, are people mad at the local leadership. I feel like I've never seen it like this. I feel like I've never seen, maybe back in the, WTO riots, back in 99, I think. People were big mad at the governor, or the mayor of Seattle at the time. I can't even remember his name, but they were big mad because of his handling of the police and the riots, etc., etc. So it's fair to criticize the mayor of Seattle because I also can be critical of the mayor of, New York City, like Bill de Blasio. I can be critical of the governor, Cuomo, because the way they handled their pandemic response and all that led to a skyrocketing murder rate, complete chaos in the streets, the destruction of all these small businesses. I am allowed to have an opinion about their handling of this, and that's just how that is. And I guess they have to learn to live with me not being one of their voters, talking shit about them, especially on Twitter, especially on the internet. It is what it is. So that's that regionalism thing. I know it's similar in, New York State. New York City kind of runs the show, and the rest of the state just gets dragged along regardless of what they want the laws to be. And so it's the inversion. The western part of Washington kind of drives a lot of policy for the eastern part of the state. And, it makes sense. Yeah, it's weighted. This is where the people are, and this is where the money is, and this is where the influence is, and that's just how it is. But that doesn't mean that the people in the eastern part of the state aren't Washingtonians, that they aren't Americans, that they aren't part of our weird, democratic republic thing that we've built. and they deserve to be heard for that same reason. Yeah. So what's that? What did we cover? Covered, there's the gubernatorial debates, which is, I just like to say gubernatorial. Remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger said that? He was like, "You're gubernatorial candidate." It doesn't matter. This is one of those issues. I didn't really think it mattered that much, right? That like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, you're WASDOT. What? You look like a freaking tow truck, buddy. Anyways, does it matter? Well, if our governor is the one instituting the like sequester lockdown policies, then you can change the governor, and then the governor will enact different policy. So it is like, if you think we can end the lockdowns, then vote him out. And then that matters, because you're either putting everybody at risk and we're going to have the bodies in the street and all that, the stand stuff, or everything be fine and this whole thing has been an overblown media hoax. And I can't really, I've stated that I think it's over. I think this has been not a hoax, that's not fair, but it has been overblown media sensation. And what it has done is exactly what I've said is what the media's role is. The media's role is not to inform you and make you an informed citizen. The media's role is to create popular cognitive narratives that allow the government to do what it wanted to do anyway. Right? So they wanted to destroy the local economy. So they created this narrative that this disease was really dangerous, that also benefits China, which also benefits a lot of investors and all these things. And it came from China. Oh no, look how scary it is. Oh, and then it came here, and then we're like, oh, actually it's not really that scary. Like we crushed it. We bent the curves down. However, we've stayed in lockdown for like 6 months now. 7 months? I can't even remember now. I mean, it's hundreds of days, like 214 days roughly, that we've been under lockdown, at least here in Washington. Now, I understand how that sounds when I say that, because it's like, what are you saying, Kyle? You're saying they wanted to destroy the local economies in these different states. Well, no, but yes, because they're blaming it on Trump, and federal Democratic leadership told them, hey, we're going to have the media help spin this and make it about Trump, not you, so you won't bear the blame for making a bad decision. And I know how that sounds when I say that. I'm kind of inventing some of that, but you know that there's at least some truth to that. I understand how pundity that sounds. I understand how conspiratorial that sounds, but like, I just think that there's a short-term pain that they've managed to inflict on us in order to get a long-term gain. Short-term pain, long-term gain. 10 years from now, we reestablish our TPP and our trade deals with China. We wash the Trump admin away and we go, it was just a fluke. We move forward with all of our, our regulations and our Green New Deal stuff, and like gun regulation stuff is one of the things I think is going to be kind of big, especially if they can block this Amy Coney Barrett appointment to the Supreme Court. And then like Biden at the debate, Chris Wallace was like, oh, so you want to stack the courts and the Supreme Court, and Biden was like, well, yeah, we will. And it was like, people, I'm not sure people understand what that means. They want to add more seats to the Supreme Court. Now, it always has to be an odd number in order for there to be a majority consensus, right? If you have 8 justices, you could get 4 and 4. So you have to have like 9 so that you at least have, a 5-4 or something like that. And they kind of let him go on that, and actually Trump kind of let him go on that, and it's disturbing. It's disturbing because it is like, no, you want to change the rules and change the way that everything functions in order to get what you want passed. And that might include things like amending the Constitution. Well, amendments have to go through Congress, but rulings that supersede, lower court rulings that supersede the Constitution, and that's partially why the judicial branch is such a point of contention, and everybody's freaked out about it, because the Supreme Court has so much power, and arguably more power than it was supposed to have. Something like that. So, is this a conspiracy? Do I sound insane? Or does this sound like party politics? Go ahead, come on, get it going. Party politics in the modern era with the globalization of our economy and various politicians being in the pocket of various foreign powers. I mean, Biden has suspicious ties with China. And Russia, really. And Ukraine, apparently. What else, though? What else is going down? Does it, see, I can say all that, and I know how it sounds. Again, you're like, yeah, okay, Kyle, it's a little Alex Jones. But again, party politics, or power politics, rather. What, if we're talking about control over our government, control over our intelligence apparatus, sort of, maybe, control over our economy in large parts due to regulation, control over the largest military apparatus in the history of the world, what is not on the table? When the media is used, mass media is used to control everybody's minds, and social media is like a marginally better. I mean, there's sort of an opportunity there for alternative views to slip in, but it's also just another layer of mass delusion production, right? Like mass propagandism, right? It's just very engaging, right? What is not on the table? If it sounds absurd, it may not be that absurd, because there is an immense level, like unparalleled levels of power involved in seizing control of the government of the United States of America. It includes access to state secrets, access to our military, access to our influence overseas, pay-for-play kind of things. I swear, this is what's happening. Not one side's good and one side's evil. No, it's just different groups competing to control an increasingly powerful state government. Federal state government, not just state level. And again, I know how that sounds when I say that, but is that not, in fact, what's going on? I mean, really just one side's good and the other side's evil, yet they both, they cooperate when they want to rescind our rights and pass legislation that allows them to, imprison us without, without charges and everything else. Patriot Act, crazy amounts of spending that create hyperinflation, all this stuff. That both sides do it, and both sides demand the other side do it when they are in power or not. So, yeah, I'm cynical, if you couldn't tell. All right, well, that's enough for a Wednesday. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.